and Palin comparisons. The governor at her craziest yet. Caroline Kennedy isn't getting treated the way she was because of the, quote, class, unquote, to which Kennedy belongs and evidently which Palin thinks she herself does not.
And I think that as we watch that, we will perhaps be able to prove that there is a class issue here also.
But wait, there's more. Tina Fey and Katie Couric are, quote, exploiting her. And about Couric's surprise that nobody followed up on her question about which newspapers the governor read.
Because Katie, you're not the center of everybody's universe.
But wait, there's still more. Quote, when she saw the photo of Keith Olbermann, she literally let out a shriek and pointing to his photograph declared, that guy is evil. Sorry. All that and more now on Countdown. Who, me? No one has ever accused Governor Sarah Palin of being deep, but her personality sure is wide, and her ability to reveal huge and troubled yet eternally entertaining parts of it seemingly limitless. In our number one story in the Countdown, you've already heard her complaint that she believes Caroline Kennedy is getting a free ride from the media because of the, quote, class to which she belongs. That was just the start of the governor's latest self-immolation, supporting the contention of right-wing propaganda producer John Ziegler that elite media bias kept the governor and Senator McCain out of their rightful positions in the White House. It began with the blogosphere and it ended with me. But there was one continuous thread. Whatever happened, not in a million years was any of it her own fault.
When did we start accepting as hard news sources bloggers, anonymous bloggers especially? It's a sad state of affairs in the world of the media today, mainstream media especially, if they're going to rely on anonymous bloggers for their hard news information. Very scary.
Well, we apparently started accepting bloggers as hard news sources. I'm sorry, forgive me, Governor. You apparently started accepting bloggers as hard news sources when you ran with their inflation of Barack Obama's passing acquaintance with William Ayers as, quote, Palin around with terrorists. Palin on why the media caused her to lose the election.
So, you know, I have the same question that perhaps you do and others who would participate in this documentary, even trying to figure out, is it political? Is it sexism? What is it that drives someone to believe the worst and perpetuate the worst in terms of gossip, lies?
Governor, doing that is called being a conservative. The someones on your side claimed the opposing candidate was a terrorist, not born in this country, a Manchurian candidate, too black, too white, too inexperienced, too politically experienced, too popular, too unpopular, a Muslim, a black separatist theologian, and a stoned gay man. Then again, consistency was never really part of the plan. Contemporaneous with her disastrous network news interviews, specifically the Katie Couric self-destructions, the governor said she'd had no problem with their scheduling. Then it leaked out that she blamed John McCain's people for forcing her to do those interviews. Then she denied she'd said anything of the kind and blamed the media for lying about her blaming the media. And now she's come back full circle to blaming the McCain campaign.
Did you feel as if it had gone well, not well?
No, I knew it didn't go well. I knew it didn't go well the first day, and then we gave her a couple of other segments after that. And my question to the campaign was, after it didn't go well the first day, why were we going to go back for more? And because of however it works in you know, that upper echelon of power brokering in the media and with spokespersons, and it was told me that, yeah, we were going to go back for more. And going back for more was not a wise decision either.
And the governor coming across as somebody who couldn't pass 6th grade social studies, that was the campaign's fault, and Katie Couric's, and how her answers were altered to make her look bad, even though she actually admits she never actually watched the final version CBS aired.
I never saw the interview after Katie edited it, they spliced it together, did whatever they did, and then aired it. Never saw how it came across, but my understanding is so many other topics that were brought up certainly weren't portrayed as accurately, perhaps, as they could have, should have been.
To paraphrase the governor, when did we start accepting as hard news sources your understanding? And oddly, like the day she claimed she had seen Tina Fey's impression of her but had not listened to it because the sound was down on the TV, she now insists she did not see an interview she claims was maliciously edited, but she did see a comment Katie Couric made about that interview.
even in the post-election interviews, Dave, that she's done, nobody's really asked her, why didn't you answer that question?
Because, Katie, you're not the center of everybody's universe. Maybe that's why they didn't think to ask that question amidst so many other things to be asked.
Well, true, like why the governor couldn't think of the name of just one Supreme Court decision besides Roe v. Wade. The big news, though, here, the governor finally answered the question about news sources, not about Supreme Court verdicts, trimmed it from all of them to somewhere between 4 and 10. And it only took her 3 months and 9 days to do it.
To me, the question was more along the lines of, do you read? What do you guys do up there? What is it that you read? And perhaps I was just too flippant in my answer back to her. But of course, I read newspapers, I read publications. I spend a lot of time, of course, reading our local papers and the highly circulated publications here in Alaska, because that's my job, is to know the business of Alaska and our communities, but also USA Today, yes, and New York Times.
The marvelous, endless supply of self-pity and anybody but self-blame is not focused on Couric alone. Remembering that during her appearance on Saturday Night Live, Governor Palin or somebody decided she should not say the self-deprecating line written for her, "I do like her impression of me." Listen to how the pity and the blame are mixed with a new chaser, jealousy.
Oh, job security is important in my agenda here in the state. I'm just helping those outside of my state also keep their jobs secure. But yeah, I did see that Tina Fey was named Entertainer of the Year, and Katie Couric's ratings have risen. And I know that a lot of people are capitalizing on, I don't know, I think some perhaps exploiting that was done via me, my family, my administration. That's a little bit perplexing. It also says a great deal, though, about our society.
A society which evidently appears to the governor through something akin to beer goggles. It hates her because she's a woman, she's an Alaskan, she's of a, by her own terms, lower class than Caroline Kennedy. But all would have been forgiven by the media, she says, if only one thing had changed: if she'd run on the other ticket.
I think they would have loved me as a candidate. So there's so much hypocrisy in it all. It's pretty baffling. But yeah, had I been chosen perhaps to run as a reformer on the Democrat ticket, we would have seen an absolutely different and I think, if you will, a much prettier profile of Sarah Palin and the Palin family and my administration.
The triage test of mental health is how correctly you can see yourself as others see you, how close you come to guessing what others perceive. This is how close Sarah Palin gets. In an era when the difference of what it means to be a Democrat or a Republican is probably greater than it has been at any time since 1864, Sarah Palin can conceive, even hypothetically, about choosing to run for office as either one of them. Lastly, though, there was one brief moment of clarity. To quote filmmaker Ziegler's blog, "When she looked at the back cover of my first film and saw the photo of one of the film's targets, Keith Olbermann, she literally let out a shriek and, pointing to his photograph, declared, 'That guy is evil.'" Joe the plumber, Tito the builder, Keith the evil. Thus am I made whole. Let's count down for this, the 2070th day since the declaration of mission accomplished in Iraq. I'm Keith Olbermann. Good night and good luck. I will now turn over control to my evil overlord, Rachel Maddow. You know, conveniently for the governor, she still has that witch hunter pastor Muthi guy to protect her against us.
I like to think of myself as Rachel the Maddow, but I don't think it ever took off. Keith, thank you very much.
You're the welcome.
And thank you for staying with us at home for the next hour.